breaking free. Yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression. It's out for liberty. Breaking free. Yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts. We're reclaiming our land. They try to silence us, but we won't be tamed. Voices getting louder, can't keep us in chains. We got the power, we got the might. Together we can shine, together we can fight. Feel the rhythm in your feet, it's time to stand tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression, it's out for liberty. Breaking free, yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. They try to silence us, but we won't be tamed. Voices getting louder, can't keep us in chains. We got the power, we got the might. Together we can shine, together we can fight. Feel the rhythm in your feet, it's time to stand tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression, it's out for liberty. Breaking free, yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. We're claiming our land, yeah.
I hate this show. Oh my goodness.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another Friday night edition of Are You Smarter Than a Politician? This is your gateway drug to liberty. Tonight, you vote, you watch, you're told you're in control, but are you? Tonight, we're going deeper, past the headlines, past the parties, into the systems actually pulling the strings. Who shapes the narrative? Who controls the decisions? And who really benefits? Three notable political minds step in to break it all down. Get ready, because tonight you decide who is smarter than a politician. Joining us for the fifth or sixth time, my buddy, Rob Yates. He's running for LNC chair. He's also the communications director for LPNC in North Carolina, and he's been a candidate for Charlotte mayor twice. You can follow him on X at ProsperCLT2023. How are you tonight, Rob?
What is this time, like 6 or 7, something like that?
It's a lot.
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it. I love the show. I'm looking forward to adding to my nearly unblemished record.
Nice. Promote what you're up to.
Oh, this week I've been trying to get yard work done. That's about it. No, I'm running for chair of the Libertarian National Party. I'm the comms director for North Carolina. We just had a convention, which was awesome, with an awesome episode of Are You Smarter Than a Politician going on there. And just in general, trying to help our candidates get elected and move liberty forward.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a good time. It was kind of a blur. I do remember jumping into a pool with Joe Jorgensen at midnight. That a 40-degree pool, if I remember correctly. So yeah, we had a lot of fun up there. And I remember that I got the last draft beer in the entire bar in the resort. So we had a good time. All right. Joining us for the first time, Kurt Wuckert Jr. He's got his podcast, Kurt's Podcast. It's on YouTube. And you can check out his websites, kurtwuckertjr.com, gorillapool.com, and beopen.ai. You can check him out on X at Kurt Wuckert Jr. How are you tonight, Kurt?
I'm doing quite well. Thank you for having me. No, of course, I'm going to have a frog in my throat, not to try to upstage Toad over here, but doing well. It's been a busy week. Been a little bit under the weather, so that's what's going on with the throat, but working full-time in the Bitcoin economy. I just published my third article in a series about the hidden history of Bitcoin. Everybody's releasing documentaries trying to find Satoshi Nakamoto, and I think they all suck. So I've been undermining the narrative with the facts, and they're all out there, and nobody wants to talk about them. So I've been doing that. I've got killer group of people working with at Gorilla Pool and Be Open, and just really happy to be here. Excited to talk politics on a Friday night.
Awesome, man. Thanks for doing this. And last but not least, Toad's here. He's a podcaster who does Toadstool Sports, covered in Uke and Losercast and the G-Spot, All of his links are on Linktree/Learn to Toad, and you can follow him on X at Learn to Toad. How are you tonight, Toad?
I'm doing all right. How are you? I did also run for president for the Libertarian Party during the last round, so people might forget about that. I don't know, but my campaign basically involved calling the entire party a bunch of losers, which has then tailed into me being part of the Losercast podcast, where we are all losers, but we nominate people who are even bigger losers than we are. So if you want some comedy, you can check that out. But I am also a total degenerate gambler, and I do have money on my Boston Celtics here tonight. So it could be a really good night or a really bad night. But as Terry said, it's going to be a good night because we're all here. So
That's awesome, man. I'm very psyched that I haven't been nominated for that yet. So if you could forget this whole experience afterwards, that would be a great help to me. So, and joining us as always, our producer, the lovely Terry Batts. How are you tonight, Terry?
I'm here. I'm excited and so happy to be with my chat. You guys know it. I know you guys will do a great job. Keep us entertained. Let's go.
Awesome. And our Friday night shows are sponsored by Xano. If you're tired of surveillance coins dressed up as freedom tech, Xano is the real deal. Open source, enterprise-grade privacy, scalable and secure, build, spend, and tokenize any asset without the peeping eyes. Xano isn't just private. It's none of their damn business. And if you're new to this space, visit intro.xano.org to learn how Xano gives you the power to own your own data, your money, and your assets, all in one simple, secure platform built for real-world freedom. Thank you, Xano. We appreciate you. And thank you to our subscribers. We have a ton of them now. Rob is one of them, so he probably should win tonight. And our Ryan Woodcraft from El Paso of the historic victory in El Paso. We also have Ray Walden, who just joined, and the other Massey, Rebecca Massey. We appreciate you all. You can subscribe to us on X. This is your backstage pass. And we have a special surprise. We're going to have our 100th episode is coming up soon. This is like our 92nd, I believe. And for our 100th episode, we want to do a subscriber showdown that should be around June. And so if you're a subscriber, you can jump in. Or if you want to subscribe now and throw your name into the ring, we're welcoming new subscribers as well. So that'll be a lot of fun. And if you want to sponsor the show, go to studio@freedomuncut.com. And we will be at the Libertarian National Convention in May. You can register to go, lnc2026.com. We will be on the main stage there Saturday night. And we'll be at Freedom Fest in July 8th through 11th. We will be in the You Are the Power area with our friend Spike Cohen and all the great people at You Are the Power. If you go to freedomfest.com, you can register and you will get $100 off and help out You Are the Power if you use the Spike 100 code. Let's jump into the comments real quick and see who's here. Amity's here. What's up, Amity? Dan's here. Am I allowed in tonight? Do I have a timeout? No, you're totally allowed in. You're just in trouble on X. You're not. We don't have a penalty box here. Mauricio's here. What's up? Get on with it. Yeah, I get that a lot. Grumpy Gnome's here. What's up? Check out his show, 3 Shots In. First 200 to Toad for being the best ukulele player there is. Is there more than one ukulele player? I thought you were the only one.
the other guy was a fat Hawaiian who died, so I'm the only one.
Yeah, the tiny...
The greatest living ukulele player.
There we go. Awesome. Twilight Sparkles here. 100 to Rob just because he's awesome. Is that Valerie? I think that's
It
Valerie.
is.
Yeah. 200. Hi, Valerie. 200 to Kurt for the coolest brother ever. Carl. Is he? Are you guys brothers?
My brother is Carl Wuckert. Yes.
Oh, I did. I should have figured that out on my own. Minus 13 to
Not
Rob.
a lot of us on Earth. Yeah.
Yeah. Minus 13 to Rob for the crooked hat. That's totally fair. Shirley's here joining us from across the pond, another subscriber. What's up, Shirley? And Anarchist Chef, another subscriber. What's up? 200 to Rob for running for LNC chair. 200 to Kurt for the frog toad joke. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. My cousin was already in his mouth. It's getting weird already.
El Phantasma is here. What's going on? 200 million points to Terry for putting up with us. 100%. Kay's here. What's up, Kay? Another subscriber. 200 to Toad for having the only animal type name. All right, that's fair. First time here, get on with it. All right. Valerie's here again. 100 to Rob for the new hat. Go Caps. Nobody likes the Caps. And nobody likes the Caps cap at that. Kurt, do a wrist check.
Oh, here I'm a watch guy. I'm wearing the Rolex Air King tonight.
Oh, nice.
Here, closer. There we go.
Excellent.
Cool.
And Scientific Libertarians here. What's up, buddy? 100 to Rob for having the best beard. Perfect. All right, let's jump into it here. Welcome again. Please share this out. We have been having all sorts of problems with the algorithm, probably because we're anti most of what the government does. So any help you can give us would be great. You can follow me on X. I'm at Smarter Game Show. Terry is Bats T76. Helping behind the scenes is Amity Lee 13. And Casey was just on the road. I spent a ton of time with Casey on the road. That was a lot of fun. And his lovely family. And he's at American versus Gov. And he does the They Both Suck podcast as well. You can get our gear at freedomsuperstore.com. Kurt, you will like the Satoshi for President shirt there. I am wearing the Make Anarchy Great Again shirt tonight. You can follow us on YouTube and Rumble at Freedom Uncut. And we're very close to getting monetized on YouTube. So if anybody wants to binge watch some old episodes, there's like 91 of them or something. So that'd be cool. And next Wednesday night from 6 to 9 p.m., I will be on, not that whole time, but I will be on the Larry Sharp and Shannon Joy Money Bomb. They're running for governor and lieutenant governor of New York. That's April 29th from 6 to 9 p.m. Bunch of big guests on there. I am by far the least impressive person that's going to be on that. So join and give them some of your money so they can get ballot access in New York and attack the machine of New York. All right. So tonight's grand prize, since Trump ruined peace prizes, we made our own. The grand prize is the Are You Smarter Than a Peace Prize. Also on the prize shelf, we have Mike Johnson's signature cologne Swamp Ass, as well as the Ayn Rand Fountainhead Teddy Bear. We also have the home edition of Are You Smarter Than a Politician, a bunch of libertarian bobbleheads, and we have the Strait of Hormuz bath set. If you have mental midget that you need to take a bath, this is the gift for you. Also, I did this one for Rob. We have the qualified immunity action figures, now with more unchecked power.
Nice.
Also, we have the tariff cash register, and we brought this one back because we added to it. Now it does refunds to big corporations. So you paid the tariff, they get the refund. That's how it works. Also, we have the Palantir build your own surveillance van for the kids if they want to spy on your neighbors. It'll work really well when they approve FISA and they say it has something to do with voting next week. And also we have the Trump nativity set. It's April. Somebody needs to take this thing. Nobody wants it apparently. And we have the Killdozer because nobody talks about the Killdozer more than me and Casey do. Here's the rules. I am the government. Whatever I say goes. Scoring errors count. Life isn't fair. Suck it up, Buttercup. Nobody cares. You have one debate, one filibuster. You can veto an answer, tariff an answer, redistribute an answer, and everybody starts off with negative 500 points because the government gets paid first. Here's how scoring works. The chat controls the score. So you can give or take up to 100 points from the contestants. And because I am the government and I believe in crony capitalism, subscribers can give or take up to 200 points because they pay me, so they matter more. Nuking a score. Any former contestant can nuke a score, taking it down by 1,000 points. The twist is a contestant can only be nuked once, and it has to be for a good reason. All right. I will put Terry in the back. She controls the chat and the scoring. Make her life extremely difficult. Thank you, Terry. Lightning round. First question is to Rob Yates. Category is perception of power. Is the real power in this country held by people you never voted for?
I mean, I think it's split. We vote people in who are backed by the people who hold the real power, so that we have the illusion of some sort of power. Like, you got to choose: do you want to get shot in the balls or the eyeball? And then you're supposed to be thankful when you just get shot in the balls.
Yeah, fair. All right, Kurt, to you. Your question is: do elections mostly change the faces, not the decisions?
Oh, 100%. Elections are almost completely fake, and if they were effective, they would be illegal.
Very true. Toad, to you. Is power more centralized today than than most people realize.
Yeah, I think it's definitely more centralized. And what people really don't realize is who is actually that central power, because it is not even really the U.S. government. It's certainly not the faces that are in power there. It is Israel, pretty much.
All right. And we've already hit that. All right. So,
And banned. Yeah.
and if you were joining us on YouTube, we're also on X. Rob, to you. Category is trust in institutions. Do Americans trust institutions more than those institutions deserve?
If Americans trust institutions at all, then they trust those institutions more than they deserve. Every single quote unquote public institution has it displayed nothing except a consistent and absolutely unconditional, guaranteed betrayal of every single thing it is supposed to do.
That's fair. All right, Kurt, to you. Have major institutions become too insulated from public accountability?
I think for the most part, by and large. However, I think we are seeing a lot of, especially in media. I think, if you look at the long tail of media over the last 20 years, this is a great example, right? Normal people can hop in front of a microphone and fire up a camera and actually speak truth to power. And granted, we got to be a little careful not to get zucked off of YouTube, but truly, we have a lot more ability to have influence like that. So that's one key place I can think of where things have gotten better.
Great point. Toad, to you. Are institutions more focused on preserving themselves than serving the public?
Depends on the institution, but if we're talking about government institutions, and that becomes even more the case when you're in this democracy that isn't really a democracy. You have people that are just temporary caretakers of it, if you even want to call it that. So they just want to suck whatever they can out of it and just steal from you. And that's really all they're concerned about, is enriching themselves.
I agree. All right, Rob, back to you. The category is voter influence versus reality. Are voters choosing leaders or selecting from pre-approved options?
Voters are selecting the illusion of leadership once again. Are you going to choose the red uniform or the blue uniform? The whole thing is a complete farce, and we know this from just trying to get ballot access. There's no tolerance for anything that exists outside their system.
Very true. Kurt, to you. Do primary systems filter out candidates who challenge power structures?
I think usually yes. In my experience, the last time I voted was 2012. I was a Ron Paul supporter, and I vowed at the time never to vote again because of how terrible that primary process was. And I've seen it half a dozen times since. I like to talk to candidates. I offer help, and every time somebody's actually a good candidate, they just get absolutely blackballed, and they never make it to the general election.
Absolutely, for sure, with Ron Paul. Toad, to you. Is public opinion ignored when it conflicts with elite priorities?
I'm not sure that it's ignored. I would say that the power structure tries to discredit it. Like, for example, with COVID, when you had the public starting to push back on that more and more, and that was against what the people in power wanted to do. They didn't ignore it. They can't ignore it because there are too many people that are starting to say that. So they try to discredit it by calling you all anti-science and conspiracy theorists and things like that.
Definitely. All right. Rob, to you. Can voters realistically reverse major policy directions once they're set?
So I think in rare cases they can, but what we're going to get is, hey, we're reversing this major policy decision, whatever it may be, with this 5,000-page bill, and we need to pass it to find out what's in it, or you have 24 hours to read it. So yeah, one thing changes one step forward, and then we get 6 steps back because of the things they sneak into it.
Definitely. Kurt, to you. Does your vote meaningfully impact national policy decisions?
Not at the individual level. I think in the off chance that there's some massive landslide election against a terrible candidate, and some new dark horse candidate comes in, and they've got this massive mandate, I think maybe. Actually, I thinking about it, I picture like Donald Trump's reelection was like a pretty decisive victory, and so I think that kind of thing does act as like a little extra jet fuel on the or I guess in this situation, rocket fuel on the bombs dropping everywhere. But by and large, the individual does not, because of the structure of the electoral system makes it that the individual vote doesn't really actually matter at all. And if you just study how the electoral college works, it's actually designed that way.
It definitely is. Toad, to you. Is political participation more symbolic than effective?
Yes. The people in power want it that way as well. They want you to think that it has some impact when it really doesn't, at least at the federal level. That is definitely the case. But yeah, it's more of like a team sport where you're just wearing your team's merch, basically, is what you're doing by putting on, a MAGA hat or a Democrat, whatever the hell they even have. I have no idea. Yes.
I agree. All right, Rob, to you. Category is media, narratives, and framing. Does the media shape what people think more than what they think about?
So incredibly in every way. And there's been tons of studies done on this. The Nazis invented it, the KGB and the CIA perfected it, and the political parties have taken it over. We have a giant popularity contest with two very well-funded, essentially propaganda machines pushing us to hate each other and not pay attention to them.
Definitely. All right, Kurt, to you. Is dissenting coverage suppressed more than people realize?
In the mainstream, 100%. Everybody can picture their parents or their grandparents telling you why the midterm elections really matter, and why we gotta support all these terrible countries around the world, and why more American teenagers need to go die in the desert. And it's very effective in some regards, but again, there is that extra thread of stuff that they don't control. They really, really want to. They want to shut off the podcasters. They want to shut off the streamers. They did a really good job of shutting off the people on Twitter for a long time. But I think we're actually taking back a little bit of ground on that front. So I'm a little bit optimistic about our ability to communicate. And I think technology is just going to make it even better. And unless they shut off the internet, I think we're going to keep getting stronger in our ability to bring that narrative back to the people. Yeah,
I agree. It's been a rough couple months on Twitter, though. So I mean, they can control that spigot still.
For sure.
A lot of us are feeling it. So, Toad, to you. Is outrage selectively amplified to steer public opinion?
Yes, I believe that it is. And you can see an example of that right now where the outrage is geared towards getting you to promote the war in Iran. And the outrage is like at the Iranian government. Oh, look at this government that's suppressing its citizens and things like that. And they actually mask it in like a libertarian language as well by doing it that way. So yes, and that is one current example of it.
Definitely. All right. Enter your scores in the chat if you've not done so already. Let's check out. The chat is hopping. You guys are popular guys. Lucius George is here. What's up, buddy? Jake Day's here, subscriber and host of the If by Whiskey podcast. 200 to Toad if he covers one of my songs on ukulele. That'd be badass. He's a good musician. 100 to Kurt for being part of the Watch Club. Yeah, that's fancy. I got an Apple Watch.
1,000. Seems like there's cheating going on. He's been on the show too many times.
A little bit of nepotism, yeah.
Oh no, it's not. Oh, I thought it was. It's Kurt. Never mind.
Oh, is it? Terry takes the points down to what is allowed. So if it says 1 billion, it's still only 100. So love the new prizes. Thanks, Valerie. Yeah. 16 points to Toad for the 16 delegate votes he got for president at the 2024 convention.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. All right. 200 to Kurt for elections are fake. 200 to Toad, fight centralized power. 200 to Kurt for the best mood lighting in the background. Yeah, that is soothing.
You want me to turn the Celtics game on behind me?
Yeah.
100 to Rob for having more warts than Toad. I like that. 200 to Rob. Yates for LNC Chair 2026. Oh, that's for my buddy Chris Townsend. What's up, Chris? Spent some nice time with him in Texas recently. 200 to the homie Rob because I said so. Mike Vitko from the Vitko Verdicts here. What's up, buddy? 100 points to everyone. Can't watch right now because I'm out, but I'll share it out. Thank you, buddy. 200 to Kurt for the Ron Paul shout out. 100 to Kurt for supporting Ron Paul. 100 to Mr. Clean for getting those blood stains out of Toad's linoleum.
Am I Mr. Clean? What's going on here?
Oh, we got 2 Mr. Cleans. 50 to Toad for not having sports on the TV in the background for once. 200 to Toad. Brent Freeman from the Aiming Up podcast
Brett?
is here. Also a subscriber. What's up, buddy? Brandon's here. What's up? Watching from my deck tonight. That's nice. 100 to Rob. No trusting institutions. 100 to Toad for institutions sucking everything out of you, but minus 500 or minus 50 for the Celtics. Go T-Pups. Is that a thing?
That's
200
the
to
Minnesota Timberwolves is what he's talking about.
All right. 200 to Kurt. Your vote doesn't affect policy. 200 to Rob for the Paula Abdul reference. 200 to Kurt. Individual voting doesn't affect policy change. Minus 100 to Toad. I specifically called them dirty hippies. 300 to Rob from his mommy. Oh, that's nice. Libertarian Party's here. What's up? 200 to Rob for step dancing. 1 step up, 6 steps down. 200 to Toad. The people in power are just team sports. 100 to Rob for the Nazi knowledge flex. 100 to Toad for the merch shout out. 200 to Kurt for not letting teens go die in the desert. Kilburn's here and reposted. What's up, buddy? 200 to Kurt for independent journalism. 200 to Kurt for the last response. 200 to Kurt, your mouth to God's ear. 100 to Rob for being the first Sasquatch hybrid to run for LNC chair.
Anytime.
Outlawed Thoughts is here. Welcome. 200 to Toad because he's based. I don't know. Jacob Winograd's here from the Biblical Anarchy podcast, also a subscriber. What's up, Jacob? 200 Toad. If he'll refollow me on X, I'll hold a boombox if I have to.
What's all these contingencies? Like, I can't cover a uke song right now. If I follow him right now, do I get 200 points? I'll do it.
You get 200 points. That's it. That's exactly how this works. It's the weirdest game on the internet. Marcus is here from the Black Powder podcast. What's up, buddy? Great show last night. 100 to Yates. William's here. What's up, buddy? Ryan Woodcraft, a new subscriber's here. What's up, beautiful people and me? Yeah, thanks. 200 to all. 420 to Kurt for chief historian. 100 for no step on Sneck flag. That would be Rob. 200 points to Rob for no step on Sneck. 100 to Kurt because I said so. Trust my plan. And 200 to Kurt. All is all dependent on terrible voting structure. All right, that was a lot. And let's check out the scoreboard. All right, it's getting interesting. Kurt in the lead, 2,100 points. Toad just behind, 1966. And Rob in third with 1787. All right. Back to you, Rob. The category is Culture War Battleground. Is the culture war being used to distract from bigger power struggles?
The entire point of the culture war is specifically to distract us from what's really going on, and everyone who's engaging in the culture war has fallen 100% for the PSYOP.
Amen, Rob.
Awesome. All right, Kurt, back to you. Do both sides benefit from keeping the culture war heated?
Oh, absolutely. Both sides want things like abortion, gay marriage, all the trans stuff. They want all that stuff to remain contentious issues because as long as voters are arguing about those things, they're going to go emotionally vote instead of wondering why the people in power just have the ability to do basically whatever they want once they get elected.
Amen. 100 to Kurt for that answer.
Thank you.
You can't give points to each other. I don't like that kumbaya bullshit. That is kumbaya bullshit. All right, Toad, you. Is culture division making people easier to control?
Yes, it is. However, I will say that, that is why the people in power want that to happen. They want everybody at each other's throats culturally so that nobody's looking at who is actually in power. And I can't say who that is anymore, apparently, because the show will get nuked. Nuking like that particular country likes to do, by the way. But what I will say is that the reason they do that is because the cultural division is actually a problem that needs to be taken care of as well. Like, it's not just a distraction. The reason why it works is because it actually causes a problem in everyday life, and you have to deal with it, and it's more immediate than dealing with who's in power, even though you have to know that it's them and that they're doing it. So it's very effective. It's a huge problem. We have to grapple with that.
It really is. All right, Rob, to you. Category is influencers and opinion shaping. Is independent commentary being replaced by coordinated messaging?
There's a period of time, probably roughly 2015 to 2020-ish. I mean, the horse's ass who's running our country was probably the first person to take advantage of the opportunity. But it was a beautiful time when it really did seem like independent voices were going to make a difference. But now Gunther Eagleman can get $300 for reposting something. People are getting $7,000 a pop to post whatever propaganda they're told. And independent commentary, so to speak, has just become another means of propaganda for the machine.
They get 7,000 per post, but they have to fly economy when they go there. So that was one of my favorite revelations from that whole scandal. Kurt, to you. Are influencers acting as unofficial extensions of political power?
Absolutely, and they always have been. I think it was Operation or Project Mockingbird, the CIA psyop, where they basically tried to control the anchors at the three major news networks from the 1960s into probably the 90s, early 2000s. But now new media is what it is, and I like Rob said, there was a time when I think there really were independent influencers, but then they realize, it actually look at the 4 or 5 biggest podcasts on Earth right now, and 2 or 3 of them are run by former CIA officers that are letting you know how to like get a girlfriend or do better at your job using CIA tactics. And like, if anybody understands how the CIA works, like that is the CIA directly talking to your brain. So yeah, no, influencers that act like they're independent, they definitely are not today.
I should have joined the CIA before I became a game show host. That was my
I should listen to them on how to get a girlfriend, though, because you just have to get Mossad honeypotted.
Right? Oh. Yeah. Just threaten their lives. Cut a finger off if they say no.
I wish I had my my Cash Patel prize in the prize shelf. It was how to find women. After he got honeypotted and chooses the plane.
It's just an odor that you wore.
Oh my god!
Oh man!
All right, so to you, do people mistake popularity for truth?
Yes, in some ways, yes. I think people get kind of wrong, like what actually is even popular, though. Yeah, this is actually a difficult one to answer. My answer is yes. But I think that what can be popular can be true. It depends on if people are being misled on that particular thing or not, because you can tell when something is popular and it's actually true because the people in power will actually oppose that, if that makes sense. I don't know if I can be I would say you can see the difference between 2016 Trump and current Trump. Like there's a difference between those two things. So like 2016 Trump was actually, he was extremely popular and he won, but you could tell by the reaction to him that he was saying things that were actually true then, and that's why the people in power were opposing it, whereas now he's just completely in line with them, even though, yes, he won again. What's popular with his base now, at least, is obviously not true.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
No, it does. All right. Wait, hold on a second. Let's see if I can do this. I found it. Cash Patel's book, How to Become a Ladies Man.
Yes.
That was
I heard Eric Swallows right in the forward.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. They have a lot of fun on our money, and then pay the settlement with our money on the way out too. So, all right, back to you, Rob. Category is America First versus Neocon divide. Do establishment figures still dominate major decisions?
I mean, yeah, for sure. Some of them, like Lindsey Graham, in between his busy time on Grindr, is out there driving war decisions. We have, Randy Fine, when he's able to get out of his bed or his bathtub, certainly pushing a lot more war. Donald Trump, again, the biggest horse's ass to ever sit in political office. He, whether or not he remembers who he is when he wakes up determines if we're going to nuke another country. So, yeah, they do. There's power structures behind them, but they have plenty of influence.
That's Lady Lindsay to you, Rep.
Sorry. Apologies, Lindsay. I did not mean to. Right.
Yeah. All right, Kurt, to you. Is the America First versus Neocon conflict real or managed to create the appearance of choice?
I think it's real. So, thinking about guys like Fuentes, who's the most popular guy, I guess the founder of that movement in a lot of ways. But I think there's lots of people that are asking lots of questions that nobody's supposed to be asking. And it's a little weird that they've gotten underneath the cancel current while also being able to become sort of mainstream thinkers. So I think there's probably an 18-month cycle where they want to see, is it actually going to get people like is Ed Galrain going to beat Thomas Massey? I think if Thomas Massey wins the election, I think we're going to see a clampdown on the America First people. But if Ed Galrain beats Thomas Massey, I think they're going to say, you know what, whatever. That people can hear the America First thing and ignore it. So I think it's in a little bit of a test bed spot right now.
Ooh. Yeah, if Special Ed wins, we're in big trouble. That would be really bad. All right, Toad, you.
Yeah.
Are foreign interventions influenced more by ideology than strategy?
That is a really tough question because I think it's both. I don't know which one is more because, like, the ideology, if you want to call it ideology, the ideology is just, but I think it is strategy at the same time because what drives all of this is that the people in power want more of it, and this is all a geopolitical thing, and they want to have certain, they want to take over certain countries that are advantageous to them, so in that way it's strategic, but it's like an ideology behind it that drives the whole thing. So I'll say ideology is actually more of the driver of it. I don't know if that's a yes or a no, but whichever one that would be.
All right.
Yes, I think is the answer. Yes.
I just like anyway saying that one of my questions was tough because usually I get the opposite. So that's great. All right. Rob, back to you. The category is technocratic governance. Are experts making decisions that should belong to voters?
Well, first of all, experts should be in quote there. People who have earned some government certificate that consider themselves experts are certainly being used as the defense for decisions being made by the political class that is being paid by the people who then benefit from the decisions. For example, we should be making this vaccination mandatory because the experts who we have chosen have said everyone should get it and there's no harm and it's completely safe and effective. But the decision should not be made by voters. The decision should be made by us. No one's vote should take away my rights.
I agree.
Yes.
All right. Kurt, to you. Are unelected experts shaping major outcomes?
Big time, and more than ever, unfortunately. Looking at the really Silicon Valley in this White House is absurd. So the control that people like Peter Thiel have, then guys like David Sachs, Howard Lutnick, like these people are multi-billionaire technocrats. They control trillions of dollars of data, which data is the thing that actually controls the world in a lot of ways that people don't understand. And then Palantir. I mean, all of this, I don't even think it's a question. I think there's a very small group of people that control your data and know everything that you do with your life. And they're the biggest danger that we have right now.
What about in the cryptocurrency arena?
They're related. So, I mentioned David Sachs, Peter Thiel, and Howard Lutnick. Howard Lutnick is the former CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. They're the main counterparty that holds onto the USDT stablecoin, which is Tether. Tether is the 18th largest holder of U.S. debt in the world right now. So they're holding more U.S. debt than a small country. And that makes them. So I actually wrote an article recently how I think that the Tether Corporation is actually leveraging the relationship with Howard Lutnick to try to create themselves. I think they want to be the Tetheral Reserve Bank and replace our, insane and terrible Federal Reserve System with something even worse.
Totally agree. Side note, I found my Ed Gallerine meme. So there's that.
He looks like he's been working out.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Special.
yeah, he looks better in that picture, right?
I caught him on a good day. He's been avoiding debate, so he's well rested. All right,
Yeah.
Toe to you. Is expertise being used to justify control?
Yeah, obviously. Also, Liberty rocks, by the way. Yes, it is. And obviously, I mean, these guys already brought up the example that we saw recently that was probably the most in our face was the COVID one, where the expert doctors and scientists were all telling us one thing that was clearly not actually the truth and trying to get us to all do what they say because they want to exercise control over us, get the vaccine, whatever. Yeah, yes is the answer.
Definitely. All right, Rob, back to you. The category is economic control through policy. Are we participating in a free market or a controlled system?
Well, that's really kind of up to us, right? If you were, for example, looking to score, I don't know which words I'm allowed to say. I don't want to get you kicked off, but something with Delta 9 in it to take the load off for the weekend, and you wanted to go buy it from your black market corner store, then you're participating in a free market. And to me, it's not a coincidence that while the prices of everything else have skyrocketed, an eighth of weed is the same price as when I was in high school. But if you choose to go buy something from a store and pay your taxes and, it fits all their legal requirements, then we are 100% participating in a controlled system. This is what we consider capitalism now is just a Karl Marx wet dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he came up with the term capitalism, if I remember. Yeah.
Indeed.
Das
Kurt, to you.
Kapital, yeah.
Yeah. Do regulations favor insiders over everyday people?
Oh, everyday people. Regulations and taxes, like both of them are, they 100% let the people that can afford to have accountants and people that navigate the regulations. It keeps them in positions of power, and it stops your middle market people, your average small business owner, from being able to jump into the mainstream or jump up a rung because in order to participate in things like publicly traded, assets or becoming a publicly traded company or getting government contracts, like that requires too much paperwork and they can't get over that hump. So the regulation absolutely keeps the powerful, and it keeps the people who should be powerful stuck in either, being poor or being stuck in some terrible middle ground.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, it requires too much paperwork to braid hair or arrange flowers in today's day and age. All right, Toe to you. Is inflation a hidden form of control?
Yeah, I don't know if I would say it's entirely hidden because everybody's pretty aware that like gas prices are skyrocketing, whatever, but people don't understand the cause of it. It is obviously a method of control because it's doing what these guys have already basically pointed out, or what I think what was just pointed out was that it's trying to eliminate the middle class, basically. So like the average everyday person basically can't afford these everyday items anymore. That is what the people in power want. They want you to be just completely dependent on them and not be able to provide for yourself, essentially. But people don't realize what inflation really is, which is the increase in the actual money supply, and it's not actually the prices going up, which is the symptom of it.
It's greedy government, not greedy businesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Rob, to you. Oh, no, enter scores. If you've not put your scores in the chat, do so now. People are loving this. The chat's flying. It's crazy.
Nice.
Negative
Oh,
9.
they hate me. They're taking points away from me for bullshit reasons. So
Negative 9 to Rob just to make it 1776. My buddy Jim Bob's here. What's up? 100 points to me for showing up. That's fair. 200 to Toad. If he was the LNC chair. Oh, he was the LNC chair we needed, but not the one we deserved. 100.
I didn't run for chair though. I don't know.
Carl is the man. I hope he's watching. Carl's awesome. If you're not following Carl on X, you should absolutely. And we're trying to get him on the show. We'll do that soon. 200 to Rob. Culture war is a psyop. 200 to Kurt for emotional voting. 200 to Kurt because chaos creates division and division keeps them in power. 200 to Kurt. Culture war issues are psyops, but also unfortunately real sometimes. 100 to Dad from Declan. Oh, Declan's awesome.
Thank you, little man.
Yeah, I got to meet him in North Carolina. That was a lot of fun. He says he hopes you win. 200 to Rob for the PSYOP. 100 points to Kurt in the form of mixed Bitcoin Cash, Xano, and Monero. I would prefer Xano if you could do Xano. That right there. Yeah, perfect. 200 to Toad for not nuking the YouTube feed. Yeah, that's very nice of you. 100 to Toad because I agree, I think. 200 Toad, he's correct. It's a tough problem regarding the culture war. 50 to Todd for vagueness. I believe that was Toad. 100 to Rob. Blooded the Brave is here. Welcome. 200 to Rob for pointing out the propaganda psyop. Some of us don't get that much from Elon for our principled takes. Absolutely 200 to Kurt for knowing his history. 100 to Toad. My Irish ancestors, who are real Celtics, told me to give him some points. I told him before the show it's pronounced Celtics. 100 to Kurt, agree fully with the suppression and hope. 200 to Rob, and the accounts that call them out get throttled. 100 to Kurt, I think he's AI because his eye color matches the background. 100 to Toad, it's just an odor. Oh boy. 100 to Toad for making the JOOs. Oh, here we go. Sound cooler.
That was not my intent.
100 to Toad, put my 100 points on the Celtics winning their next game. Oh, and because his answers are libertarian-ish. 100 to Rob for his America First answer, unlike Toad's Celtics first stance. 69 to Rob for Graham on Grindr. Mad Dog's here. What's up, Mad Dog? Also does a podcast that I'm not sure I can recommend at this point. But points to Toad for being Toad. Toad's been on the show, too. That was fun. 100 to Rob for the Grindr shout-out, the #1 app at the RNC convention. 200 to Kurt for being the first to show up on the show as an AI avatar. They're hating on your beauty, Kurt. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, he looks too perfect.
I'll take it. I'm all real, man. Like this is me.
By the way,
I don't know how to prove it.
I'm rooting for Darren in his poker tournament. By the way, just so you know.
Darren's cool. Welcome, buddy. Coming in late to hear y'all's bullshit. Yeah, there's a bunch of it. 100 to Kurt for people asking questions they shouldn't. That means tyranny is trying to control us. Kurt gets 100. Is the plant real plastic, or real plastic?
That one's real. It's a real plant. Yeah.
All right. And another 100 if you eat a leaf live on the camera.
Ooh.
That might not
I don't know. I'm not sure it's not poisonous to eat, so not right now.
Yeah, 100 to Toad for supporting his team. Yeah, he's wearing enough gear to like get a point guard, I think. 100 to Carl for the Massey special ed example. 50 points to whoever says Liberty Rocks. I think that was
Liberty Rocks.
Jesse's here. What's up, Jesse? 100 to Toad for the nuanced answer about foreign intervention. 200 to Toad for wearing the entire 1980s hip hop scene in one fit. Should be shiny if it was 80s. Anarcho Cat's here, one of my favorite memers. Minus 100 to Toad for saying that's a tough question. Oh, I'll give you 100 because it was a tough question. 200 to Rob for people's votes should not take out our rights. 100 to Toad, his number 33 on his jacket tells me he's Illuminati, a Freemason, Skull and Bones, or is a member of the Orange Trumpster dumpster fire of non-enchanted ones.
One of those is actually true. You can figure out which.
Also might be Larry Bird. 100 to Kurt for having a very professional looking setup there. Yeah, we're not used to that. A lot of times we get like potato cameras and like people with a phone on their foot or something. 100 to Kurt, second best green screen. First is Freeze. He told me to say that. 100 to Rob and Toad for the experts. Minus 100 to Kurt. Ed will be a nuisance. I don't think he was supporting Ed. 100 to Kurt, totally redeemed yourself for the Technocrats comment. 100 to Toad for the power test. 100 to Rob for not bringing in golden AK words. Yeah, we appreciate that. It's in the intro though. If you look carefully in the intro,
I saw it. Yeah.
yeah, it's still in the intro.
It's sticking it to the powers
F,
that be.
Yeah, F them, man. 100 to Rob for censoring his own speech in a cryptic numerology manner for the audience to decrypt using SHA 256. 200 to Toad for sticking up for the middle class. 200 to Toad to offset size negative points. That's fair. 100 to Toad, he called me an average day person who is dependent upon my parents because I live in their basement. Mom, we need more Cheetos. 100 to Rob to make up for taking 9 away earlier. And 100 to Yates, don't lose again.
I got you, Marcus.
All right, where did this go?
That one dude seems to like pain. Like, I don't know. He seems to be like a sadomasochist or something. He's giving me points for all these bad things. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I guess I'll take it. Bring out the whip.
All right, let's check the scores. Kurt's still in the lead, 4,600. Toad's still in second, 4,466. Rob, 4,309. I love that we're making Terry's life really hard because this is a lot of points. So
Yeah.
pulling her hair out backstage right now.
Man.
All right, let's get back into it. Rob, to you. Oh, and this category is sponsored by our friends at Xano. Appreciate them sponsoring the show. The category is cryptocurrency. Rob, does cryptocurrency reduce reliance on centralized institutions?
So cryptocurrency very much could reduce reliance on centralized institutions, in fact, eliminate the need for them if we allow the wrong parties to infiltrate the cryptocurrency space or get put onto a central bank digital currency. Then it will create the ultimate centralized institution, though.
Totally. I'm traveling the country to teach people about how bad CBDCs are. So appreciate that. Kurt, to you. Are governments trying to control or suppress cryptocurrency?
So this is my issue, man. I'm the Bitcoin historian. I was the first guy to break the Jeffrey Epstein attempt to control Bitcoin. I've been talking about that in public since 2019. I was also big talking about it. Just the general hijacking Bitcoin narrative starting in probably 2015 or 16. So the first way they went about it is suppress it, right? Like Bitcoin could have overthrown mainstream financial markets and really truly peer-to-peer digital cash. It could have overthrown that economy already, but it was heavily suppressed. While it was suppressed, companies like MasterCard, who were investing into companies like Blockstream, were then patenting technology for stuff like CBDCs. And so now that we're about 15, 16, 17 years into the Bitcoin experiment, now all of a sudden the institutions are showing up. The institutions are connected directly. Big tech, big bank, big government. They're saying, hey, like let's get these regulations on. Here's the Genius Act. Here's the Clarity Act. We're all friends now, but we get the very sanitized version from the official channels. So it's a little bit of a both and. So it's a time question. It was suppress. Now that think they've got it properly under control, now everything's great. Now use cryptocurrency the way that we allow you to.
What do you think of privacy coins like Xano?
I think they have a place. My problem with them is that just like anything else, if you got low liquidity and you got 50 million things to choose from, it's really hard to get everybody to use the same thing. Everybody needs to be using the same money for it to be really effective. And my concern is that since there's lots of options, it keeps people in these little niche economies where if we only had one really good tool or maybe, 3 to 5 really good tools in the whole space, then we could be actually and practically doing business with each other in them. But, every time you bring up Xano, you got to explain what Xano is and get them to download a Xano wallet and all those things. And that's friction that is really problematic. But I support the mission. I think Xano is doing a lot of really cool things, but so are a lot of other people. The problem is there's too many people, too much choice, and it creates market confusion.
Okay. All right, Toad, to you. Is adoption of cryptocurrency being slowed intentionally?
Yes and no. So I would say that the adoption of cryptocurrency that is not being controlled by the government is being slowed, I believe. They don't want people to start using that because it is actually intended to be an alternative, at least to using their fiat currency. But the government also is seeing that this is sort of the trend, and as I think Rob pointed out, the government is also trying to give us central bank digital currencies, and they're trying to control that aspect of it. So they want that to actually probably be used prominently, so they can just control everybody through that. So yes and no is the answer.
All right. A little fence sitting there. That's fair. All right.
Feels good in my ass.
Rob, to you, the category is financial autonomy. Is financial control one of the strongest forms of power?
I mean, in the end, it's the ultimate form of power. So what are the three biggest things I guess you can control on people are their health, their access to resources, and their movement. And if you take away their financial ability to forward any of those, then you have ultimate control over people. And that's why they want central bank digital currencies. That's why they want to ban farmers. That's why they want 15-minute cities that you're forced to live in. They want to control the mileage on your car and your bank accounts. You know, if you bought the book from the wrong person, they want to say, oh, your bank account's frozen. China already has a social credit system for access to their financials, and that's the goal. That is the ultimate lever.
Totally agree. All right, Kurt, to you. Do individuals truly control their own money?
Any individual can. Most individuals do not. Most people are completely ignorant. They don't understand the difference between currency and money. They don't understand anything about monetary politics. They don't understand what real money is. I think intelligent people have always controlled their own money. They've got gold and silver in the house. They were getting into Bitcoin as soon as it was an option. And, so the smart people can, but there is way too many people that are unfortunately really, really ignorant to the kind of power that they should have just by very casually converting their fiat trash into things that are actually valuable.
Great point. All right, Toe, to you. Is financial independence becoming harder to maintain?
Yes, the government is trying to make you more and more dependent, as I think I kind of pointed that out in my answer 2 answers ago or something like that. Because, I mean, the government already pretty much controls all the monetary institutions. Most people do not have these like hard monies aside that Kurt was just talking about. So the answer is yes. It's becoming harder and harder to maintain because the government's control is just becoming more and more. It's increasing over the entire system, essentially. And people, with the inflation aspect of it, people basically have less control because of that as well.
Definitely. All right. Rob, to you, the category is decentralization. Does decentralization increase resilience?
You know, there's an interesting real life case study on this. After the financial crisis, Bank of America is a very centralized bank, and Wells Fargo is a very decentralized bank. And Wells Fargo weathered the storm a lot better financially because each individual business line was able to respond in the way most appropriate, whereas Bank of America had a centralized dictate for how everyone responded. Now, they're a public company they're trying to make money for themselves and their shareholders, obviously, so it's not a perfect match. But when you are waiting for central power to provide you resources to be resilient in a situation where it's necessary, then you're just going to end up waiting. I know in North Carolina, everyone talks about Hurricane Helene. We still haven't recovered from Hurricanes Michael and Flo in 2016, but it turns out that the NCDOR, whatever the stupid organization that was supposed to be helping, spent something like $180 million on walks in the woods and stress balls to deal with their stress from it.
Yeah, that's true. Kurt, to you. Is decentralization the only real way to shift power back to individuals?
Absolutely. The most decentralized thing you can be as an individual. And it's the same with everything else. Like your business relationships, your community relationships, your church relationships, your, hopefully someday voluntary relationship with whatever the government ends up being. yeah, the more decentralized and the more distributed that power structures are, then the closer they are to the actual people. And so I can think of no better situation than not having to ask permission of anybody except maybe my own neighbor. Be like, hey, do you mind if I make a little bit of noise while I work on my property here for the next couple of days here or something? Like that would be, that's ultimate freedom. So the smaller and more decentralized, the better, 100%.
Totally agree. All right, Toad, to you. Does decentralization threaten existing institutions?
I think it does. And decentralization, as far as I think one of the best mechanisms, it's one of the best mechanisms that we can push to fight power. And that means that the answer to this is yes. We can see it, like the best example is secession, and the government really pushes back on that, which we've seen throughout the history of the country, basically, because they know that that is something that's completely disruptive to that centralized control. So yes.
Yeah. That's why they want CBDCs, because if somebody threatens secession, they'll just turn off their money, their utilities, fly drones down their street. Yeah, I agree with you. Rob, to you. Category is localism and agorism. Can communities operate outside traditional structures?
I mean, that's a tricky question, because what communities really want is to be operating fully within traditional structures. What we have now is not a traditional structure, unless you want to go back to like the dark ages in Europe when there was a king telling everyone what to do and how to live. But I think that communities should be trying to get back to more traditional structures where, a baker made bread, farmers raised crops, and butchers cut the meat, and people went and bought it, and there was no one else involved, and it was a beautiful society and led to perhaps the greatest economic boon in the history of the world.
Definitely. All right, Kurt, to you. Is parallel economic activity already happening at scale?
I think it's an impossible question to answer, because if it's happening, it's probably not going to be in the data, right? If there's a billion people on Earth right now that just get their milk and cheese and meat and eggs by some market, by some barter, and or using some kind of currency that isn't tracked, we wouldn't know. And I would argue probably half the planet is doing that anyways, because they're just not participating in the economy in the way that we are. If we want to bring it to like just the US or just maybe the Western hemisphere, I think it's a growing thing. I think even people that are otherwise socialist authoritarian types, they're starting to ask the same questions too, and saying, you know what, maybe we should homeschool. Maybe we should drink raw milk. Maybe we should start to question the things they're doing to us. So I think it's starting to happen. I'm definitely seeing it in my neck of the woods. I live in a blue county in a red state, and I'm even getting, my general Democrat friends who are a little bit like, hey, where do you get the good eggs and the good milk and the good meat and that kind of thing? And how do I pay for it? How do I bypass the system? So I think it is a growing thing. I think it's going to continue to grow. And I think the fact that it cannot be tracked and we can't put a data point on it, I think that's a good thing.
Let me ask it a different way. Is cryptocurrency happening at scale?
Not for what it should be. Almost everybody involved in the crypto space is treating it like a pure financial asset. Like they're trading, or they're using it as some kind of yield token or something. Like they're sitting at their desk and they're doing something like a trader would. I see very few people. I have one guy at my local market that I go to on Saturdays that accepts Bitcoin. And I don't know if I'm his only customer. He won't tell me, but I might be the only guy that pays with Bitcoin. But that's not enough. 17 years in, there should be a lot more of that.
Totally agree. Would love to see it happen. All right, Toe, to you. Is opting out more effective than reforming from within?
I'm going to say no, because it's sort of, this kind of ties, I mean, I know all these questions in each category tie into each other, but I kind of disagreed with what Kurt was saying there. I think the answer is to his question was also no, that these, we don't have parallel economies that could scale because there's just way too much control over the biggest aspects of the economy. For example, it's like build your own airline, like that type of thing. Like, yeah, it's possible, I guess, but it's not going to happen particularly easily at all. So I don't I think the answer to this is no, even though, yes, I did just say that secession is probably the best way of doing that, which I guess it's, I don't know, are we calling the secession an opt-out or not? Because I don't think you're completely opting out of the system. I think you're just taking where the power is located and kind of moving it backwards a little bit and moving it down. So my answer to that is actually no.
Interesting. I was looking for change in my couch to buy Spirit the other day, so
Yeah.
it probably wouldn't be worth that much, but make an investment. All right, Rob, to you. Categories: education system control. Is education centralized beyond repair?
No, not at all. In fact, we homeschool, and our education of our son is going fantastic. What's up, Dak? He's watching this show. I got to take a minute to tell this story because we were on an Alaskan cruise, which was awesome a few years ago for my in-laws' 50th wedding anniversary. He was 9 at the time. Went up to the top deck, and I saw him talking to this older couple. I was like, oh, what's he talking about? And I went over, and he was preaching to them about how the Federal Reserve is the root of all evil. So there is hope for education. The public education system is centralized beyond repair.
I agree.
Yep.
Shout out to Deck. Kurt, to you. Do alternative education systems offer more freedom?
I think it depends what we mean by alternative. I think if you look at private school, I think maybe on the margins, but you're still fundamentally in the factory sort of schooling system. I'm a huge advocate for homeschooling. We homeschool our 3 kids. I would never consider sending them to the public school. And frankly, I'm at the point where I wouldn't send them to a school anyways, because any type of school is institutionalizing. I think even if you take the kids who, you let the kids educate themselves and they're going to walk outside and eat grass or whatever, if they want to do that too. Like, I think that's maybe better, but it also, there's still that structure. There's still that, like, the teacher's in charge. You're fundamentally teaching your child to trust the authority figure that is over you during this part of the day. I think everything about the scheduling and authoritarianism is too deep in any school system. I really, truly think it is the obligation of parents to educate their kids. That's the family structure is the structure that matters. And I don't see a way how anything that looks like institutional schooling at all, I just don't think it works. And I think everything about it is a net negative.
I totally agree. All right, Toad, to you. Is public education shaping beliefs more than teaching skills?
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what it is. It's an indoctrination factory, and all it is creating soldiers for the government, basically, and teaching you essentially what's not even the truth, just fiction, so that it trains you to be essentially reliant on the government. Unless we're talking about, there are certain schools that are actually trade schools and stuff like that that will actually teach you actual skills that you can use in real life. But yeah, no, obviously the public education system, is not teaching that at all. And in fact, it's also infested with pedophiles.
Oh boy. And if you were joining us on YouTube, you can also join us on X. Damn it, Toad. Damn it, Toad.
Well, I don't know what we're not allowed to say. I'm not saying the N-word here.
I mean, that's everywhere. But YouTube,
Talking race relations for the next segment, though.
Yeah.
Are we? I'm going to do awesome at that.
The next category is Toad's favorite Celtics. All right, enter your scores in the chat if we're still on any of these channels or whatever. And oh my Lord. All right, let's check out what's going on in the chat. Darren gives 100 to Rob because he loves
What's up, Darren?
100 to Rob, cryptocurrency answer. 200 to Rob, escape the system. 200 to Kurt for knowing his crypto shit. 200 to Rob for his radio voice. That's AM, not FM. 100 to Kurt, Bitcoin historian. Hell yes, hijacking Bitcoin plus Roger Ver was wrong. Kurt knows his shit. 100%. 100 to Kurt for the cat optical course in the background. Minus 100 to Kurt for trying to filibuster with the longest answer. That's from Declan. We pointed out Declan was based. Anarcho Barbie's here. What's up? I just hung out with her in Colorado. and I might still be sweating out some of what we drank. Minus 100 to Kurt for less options. That's called control and monopoly. Minus 200 Kurt. That would involve centralization. Toad's infiltrated the chat here. If we're still on YouTube, watch my show every morning for the best bets. By the way, 200 to Toad, solid answer. 100 to Rob for not being bald.
Oh, come on.
Are you saying I'm bald? I have like 12 hairs. They're all sticking up right in the front. 100 to Rob because I said so. 100 to Rob. He gave me all the reasons why I don't like and don't want government in my life. 200 to Toad because inflation is only hidden if you choose to be brain dead and ignore it. 100 to Kurt. Correct. People have forgotten or don't know what money really is. 100 to Rob for bringing it back to Gina.
Always comes back to Gina.
Yeah. 100 to Toad. Correct. The government is growing in its control over us. 100 to Rob. Bank decentralization. 100 to Rob for the case study. 100 to Rob for bringing up the case study. 100 to Rob, decentralize everything. He cited case study. His AI just took scientific libertarian's job. We would miss Cy. He's funny. Only 100 Rob because I don't think that answered the question of resilience. That's fair. 200 to Kurt for being a good neighbor. 100 to Rob for replacing me with AI. Hashtag progress. That would be the weirdest fucking AI ever. Decentralization has killed the heavily curated music industry. Yeah, thank God for that. Less Justin Bieber. That would be good. All points to Terry for keeping up with the chat. Yeah, the chat's been fire. 100 the first person that says agorism.
Agorism.
I lost.
200 to Kurt.
Is gay.
Doesn't hurt to ask your neighbor. 200 to Rob for supporting Massey's Prime Act. Butchers to meat consumers. Butchers meat to consumers. 200 to Kurt for raw milk. Maybe we should buy Spirit Airlines. Oh, that was my idea. I was looking in the couch. 200
Collectively,
Rob
man.
Yeah, let's do it. We all chip in 25 cents and we own Spirit Airlines. The four of us. We'd be nicer than the Chicago flight crew. That's a shout out to my son who likes how mad I get when we get the Chicago flight crew. 200 to Rob for equating federalism to medieval authoritarianism. What's up, Woz? Woz. He's got a podcast now. Check out Woz's podcast.
Steve Wozniak? Oh.
No, different Woz. A less wealthy Woz. 100 to Kurt for more Bitcoin opportunities I'm buying. Rob Gannon's here. What's up? 200 to Kurt for being a good neighbor. 200 to Rob for reposting my tweets in the middle of the game show.
I got you, Andy.
Hands off the keyboard, Rob. 200 to Kurt for being pro private market bartering. 100 to Rob for homeschooling. We do too. That's awesome. 100 to Toad, build your own airlines. Haven't you seen the Iran Lego movies?
Yeah, they're
AI
awesome.
Airlines now. Yeah. 100 to Rob for having a based kid.
Yeah. I got to give credit where it's due. That was all Connor Boyack. If you homeschool, check out the Tuttle Twins. Their program is amazing.
Tuttle Twins.
They are really good.
Yeah. And you have
really
a base
good.
daughter too.
Yeah, I have all his books. I just read them on my own.
Yeah. Do you move your lips when you're reading them?
No, I don't think. I don't even know, actually. Maybe I should film myself. I don't know.
That'd be a good stream. 200 each to Rob and Kurt for homeschooling. Toad's homeschooling me, so he should get those points too. 200 to Kurt for homeschooling 3 kids and promoting the family. 100 to Kurt for homeschooling and 100 to Rob for the outgoing kid. 100 to Kurt for homeschooling your kids. Those who do are real heroes, by the way. They aren't public. They are government schools. That's fair. 200 to Toad, government schools are indoctrination camps. Phil Ryan's here. What's up? Check out the LP Alliance, and they got a fundraiser going on now. So check that out. Shout out to Rob, 200 points. My buddy Jake's here. What's up? Tough Love. Check out Tough Love Records. They're awesome. 100 to Rob for being punk as fuck. 50 to Toad because I'm trying to balance out his gambling losses.
34, 15, and 4 over the last 3 weeks, man. You can try to do better than me.
Sapphire Girl 70 reposted. We appreciate that. Let's check out the scores. And we have a little flip-flop going on here.
Oh.
Rob jumps into the lead, 67-09. Wow. This is damn
no
close.
way.
Toad 666.
Man.
666. That's not good.
Yeah.
Along with the
Yeah. 3-3,
that's really
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, that's a lot going on there. And Kurt just 109 behind. So let's speed through one more and see who wins this thing. Having a lot of fun. Keep the chat going. Appreciate y'all. Share it out again if you don't mind. We're having a good time. All right, Rob, you. Category is foreign policy influence. Is foreign policy driven by long-term strategy or outside pressure?
Foreign policy is driven by the long-term strategy of putting as much money in the pockets of the people who benefit from intervention and war. If you want to see a successful foreign strategy, just look at Raytheon stock returns over the last 25 years. And that's who has the influence. That's who makes the decisions. That's who, pays for Lindsey Graham's Grindr account. And then he goes and whispers in the president's ear. And all of a sudden we're bombing another 13 countries.
Yeah. Raytheon is also who sideswiped and kind of ruined my new Bronco right after I got it. So it was one of their employees that did it. They might be trying to kill me.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I hope you make it through the show at least.
We'll see.
All right. Kurt, to you. Do foreign governments have more influence than voters on policy?
Oh, absolutely. The country whose name can't be named. I mean, how many times have we been told like we just have to do what's good for them, despite the fact that Donald Trump was literally elected as a non-interventionist. I think it was a primary thing that he ran on, and now he's gaslighting his own voters. The coalition that he built to get himself elected is now being told to pound dirt because you're antiseptic or whatever if you don't want to go send your kids to die in Iran. And so I mean it's a nightmare, but it's actually only one case. I mean we've got the exact same problem with Ukraine. We had Ukraine had some kind of big thing with the Bidens that maybe we'll hear about someday and maybe we won't, but they're doing the same thing. It's financial interests of the people in power that actually control what the foreign policy is. And, creating enemies of some normal person in some other country, and saying that, hey, normal Americans got to go kill normal people somewhere else on earth. It always just benefits big corporations and big government.
In Trump's defense, though, his kids bought a drone company. So, I mean, they need to profit off of that. So they can get Purple Hearts for their carpal tunnel with their thumbs on the drone controllers. Yeah, well, I mean, they only allow American drones now, so I mean, it was probably an accident that they bought a drone company.
Yeah, they own the prediction markets too, and there are bets going into the prediction markets that are betting on the wars as well, so you can kind of tell like what's going to happen. There are people profiting on that in so many different ways.
Oh
It's
yeah,
absurd.
and all the the stock futures with oil and all that stuff, like 30 minutes before it's announced. I mean, it's insane. All right, Toe, to you. Are alliances shaping decisions more than national interests?
Am I allowed to answer this?
I can mute you.
Thread the needle, Toad.
There's a certain country that starts with an I that has a lot of people that start with a J. They are controlling policy and not Americans certainly. So the answer is yes.
I don't know why you blamed Ireland. That was weird.
I know. And all the Celtics that live there.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right, Rob, back to you. All right, now we're touching the third round. Rob, the category is Israel and U.S. policy debate. Are politicians hesitant to challenge this relationship?
So I actually feel a little differently about this than everyone else. Like if Israel disappeared, someone else would come in and start paying our politicians. Politicians are afraid to challenge any relationship that lines their pockets. Now, we all know very well which country is dominating the foreign lobbying, foreign influence space right now. But the problem is not that there's another country over here buying our politicians. It's that our politicians have that power to sell and that they can be bought.
That's true. Fair
Very
point.
true.
Kurt, to you. Is criticism of the U.S.-Israel relationship discouraged?
It is right now. I think to kind of piggyback on what Rob said, It's similar. I remember in the 90s, there was, big criticism of Bill Clinton was controlled by China or, controlled by Saudi Arabia. And, like I said before, Joe Biden, has something was going on with Ukraine where, like, what kind of leverage did Ukraine have on the Bidens that made him send taxpayer money every month for years? So Rob's right that, yes, right now, the Israel thing is the thing that is actually is sucking the cash out of the country and has too much leverage. But Rob's absolutely right that, if it wasn't for them, it would just be the next thing. It's some other country. It's whoever has the biggest wallet and the biggest interests.
Very true. Toad to you, and I'm already cringing. Is foreign policy being driven by commitments most people don't understand?
Yes, most people definitely do not understand the big picture, and I'm going to also include my opponents here in that as well, because I actually disagree. I do think that the country that we're talking about here, I guess we're allowed to say the name of it because it's in the name of the category here. That country, I think if that country were to go away, I actually think it would solve a lot of problems, and I think they've been behind all of what, like Kurt was just talking about. It was not these other countries that are like part of the BRICS and whatever. Like, they're in complete opposition to the country that starts with an I, if you know what I mean. Like, they're actually behind all of this, and they want people to think that there are these other countries involved. Like, they want you to be like anti-China, anti-whatever, because they want to be able to dictate all this foreign policy and they want to be able to carry out all the regime change wars that they're doing. It's just the same. There's just a different like facade in front of it every time.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think it depends on who they're going against, right? Because, like, I'm Irish. The Irish lobby was huge in, the 70s and 80s. And we didn't send troops to Ireland to, fight in, the struggles over there, so because it was against England. But, like, with Israel, like, we don't have any other horses in that race, so we can go support them.
In the 80s and the 90s, we had the Red Scare with Japan, and they were going to take over our country, and Japanese interests were getting all sorts of tax credits and other financial benefits to come here. Then, we had what was it when all those immigrants were going to come take over our country, and, all the news organizations were coming all over themselves as they were tracking the big mass migration of people that were invading the country. We always have a boogeyman. We always have lots of boogeymen that were sold. And the real problem is that we are allowing any foreign institution or entity or whomever it may be to buy this power, and we're just giving it away.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Kurt, you had something?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a both and, unfortunately. Like, we call it the special relationship for a reason. The United States has a special relationship with Israel. We call them the only, free state or the only democracy in the Middle East and things, which is objectively false. And so, I think there's a lot of added propaganda that goes into this relationship, trying to prop up the wonder of the nation of Israel when they just aren't that special in any regard. They're a socialist nation by any measure. They have compulsory military service. They've got abortion on demand. They have high tax rates. They've got a massive welfare state. So it's like, we look at them and say, like, oh, they're this great ally to American values, and that's just it's absurd. Like, they're allied to weird liberal American values, but ultimately, again, it's the both and, right? We had a big, weird relationship with England for a long time. And then we had the same thing with France. And we've had the same thing with lots of nations over the years. I think for the last generation or two, Israel has had an outsized influence on the U.S. But I don't think that that's unique. I think they're just the one that's doing it the most right now.
It's been since its existence, at least.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, they've only been, around for 70 plus years, but yeah.
Yeah. They're collectivists funded by us, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
And they had compulsory vaccines more than most other countries. And they're an extremely gay country.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right. Rob, back to you. The Iran war and escalation risks is the category. Is conflict being driven by long-standing geopolitical agendas?
So I first of all don't know what being a gay country would have to do with anything. But I do think it's being driven by longstanding, excuse me, geopolitical agendas. But call me a traditionalist, but I really think it's ultimately all being driven by oil and the power that brings with controlling the source of energy.
Yeah, that's true. Kurt, to you. Do voters have a say before military action expands?
Almost never. I think the last time anybody put any real pressure on the United States about the military was when people started leaving the country because of the draft in Vietnam. I think the only way to actually have any influence there is to put your foot down and refuse to fight. And unfortunately, that means people going to jail and other things. But that's the only actual way to do it. We've had a total volunteer professional military for my whole lifetime, and so for me it's never been an actual concern. But I'm 40 years old and they just raised the enlistment age to 42, and now they're talking about a draft again. So if we have to say no to the war, it's going to be saying no very physically by either leaving or absolute refusal, people doing protests in the street, or actually going to jail as part of a peaceful refusal. So do voters? I think you vote and then you're stuck with whatever is there for the next 4 or 8 years. And that's not enough to say like, oh, I didn't vote for all of that. You can't rescind your vote in the middle of the cycle. So it's actual practical human resistance to that kind of thing.
Totally agree. I like the account that's asking every day if Ben Shapiro is going to enlist. So that would be nice. Toad, you. Could this war spiral beyond its initial intentions?
Yes. Well, that's what every war does, because the intention is to replace whoever is the leader of that country with somebody that is going to be basically a puppet installed by this U.S.-Israel coalition and do what they want. That is the initial intention, but obviously we see it every time there's blowback with it, and it comes in a bunch of different forms. The blowback can be some people from these countries maybe attacking us in various ways. It could be just the refugees from those countries coming over here and they flood into our country and, start messing with our culture and, raping our women and things of that nature. Yeah. Yes. I believe is the answer.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the thing. I think we need people to work here, and if they want to, I always say, if they want to contribute to this Ponzi scheme of a government that we have, the more the merrier. But yeah, I mean,
although actually, all of that stuff that I said is actually probably intended, though. So maybe the answer is actually no, now that I think about it, because I think the government, they want all that stuff to happen because, again, it's that immediate distraction that you have to deal with, and then you kind of get your mind taken off of, oh yeah, this huge war is going on over here, and all of it is horrible, but you have to somehow deal with all of that, all at once.
I think it's all culture war stuff where they say there's this boogeyman and that boogeyman, and that they're to blame. It has nothing to do with government policy and them stealing our money.
Right, but it is a real problem that they're intentionally causing, though, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, whatever they can profit from, they'll cause. So, All right, Rob, back to you. The category is anti-war movement versus interventionism. Is anti-war sentiment growing faster than policymakers admit?
I mean, Trump's poll numbers are going down on him faster than Laura Loomer's, so I'm thinking it's growing pretty hard.
Oh my God. Line of the night. I had a mouthful of drink, and I'm lucky I have a laptop still. All right. Kurt, to you. Are interventions justified or automatic at this point?
I think pragmatically, in theory, there could be an intervention that might be justified somewhere in the penumbra of reality, but I can't think of one. I think the only obvious time that it's okay to engage in a war is when the war is at your doorstep. You got submarines off your coasts or something, or people are actively engaging in a war in your streets. And so I can't think of a reason why Americans should ever be in anybody else's country, especially for the sake of some other country that isn't even us. At the very least, we could admit like, hey, we're on a conquest and we're going to take some money or some spoils back. Like, we're not even doing that. We're literally just like this weird mercenary empire for everybody else for the last 25 years. And that's doubly weird. I can't figure out how anybody came up with that as a solution to anything. So in short, maybe like the biggest possible maybe on if it's ever justifiable, but I can't think of one reason why it ever would be.
Yeah, nor can I. Toad, to you. Is the public being conditioned to accept ongoing conflict?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a conflict that is it's basically just continuous at this point. It's been the case for my entire lifetime. I think it's been the case for decades now at the very, well, I mean, that is my lifetime, but yeah, for several decades at the very least now. It's just been, people talk about the forever wars. That is what this is. And yeah, people are being conditioned to accept it, but there is also pushback to it now. But yeah, that is the intent, to just condition people. Oh yeah, there's always going to be this ongoing threat. Iran is the new one. We have to deal with this, whatever. And then they will up the security state and put the TSA in and all this crap. And yeah, they want to make it more part of they normalize all this stuff so that you're more accepting of it. Yes.
Definitely. All right. Rob, to you, the category is executive power and the 25th Amendment. Could the 25th Amendment be used as a political tool?
I mean, it obviously could, and if it ever was, it almost certainly would. But I'm in favor of the 25th Amendment being used at any time for any president. I always favor impeachment. I can 100% guarantee that any president that we have ever had has done several things worthy of impeachment or worse. Criminal charges. Right now, we have a president who partied with the late great Jeffrey Epstein. We need to use the 25th Amendment right now. We should have used it on Biden. I mean, he couldn't form a complete sentence. Donald Trump is getting more and more incoherent as he just crumbles into the maelstrom of malignant narcissistic dementia, and we're going to get a nuclear bomb because of it.
Yeah. All right.
Am I allowed to debate that?
Let's just finish. We're
all
at
right.
time.
All right. I don't agree with his yes or no answer, but I do disagree with the mechanism of it. Yes.
All right. Kurt, to you. Is there enough transparency around presidential fitness?
Oh, God, no. Especially, the last couple. I mean, Joe Biden was like hung up on a stick to get him out on stage the last, 2 years of his presidency. And Donald Trump's not looking much better. But I mean, even just thinking back, like Ronald Reagan definitely had dementia in the last couple of years of his second term. And, there's a lot of problems there for when we talk about fitness, both just by age. It's not even their fault. Like, I think, Joe Biden was always kind of a bumbling fool, but sorry, an 80 or a 90-year-old man shouldn't be the president because like they lack the capacity. They don't have the ability to deal with that kind of pressure that is needed, unfortunately, for the job. But there's also all kinds of other things. Like when we talk about fitness, it can be, the ability just to make decisions under pressure in the first place. Somebody like Barack Obama only ever had experience being a politician and never a politician in an executive sense. He was always a legislator. So he's always just this big opinion guy. And like, we don't need an opinion guy in charge of things. You actually need somebody to make practical decisions if that's the role they're going to be in. And so fitness, I don't know. And the other problem is it's a double-edged sword in the first place, is that you kind of have to be a narcissist to get into the position in the first place. And then that's its own problem. So it just all of it really sucks. I don't think anybody is fit to lead millions of other people. I think people need to prove that they can lead their own family, and people should focus on their family, their neighborhood, maybe their town, their county, that kind of thing. But like in most cases, that's already thousands of people, and that's too many people to actually care about as people, anyways. So I would say no. We need to get rid of this notion of anybody being fit to be the leader of millions of people.
Great points. Toad, to you, last question of the night. Is the presidency more powerful than the system can handle?
No. I think the office of president is really just a face, essentially. It's just whoever's going to be put in there and whoever can be controlled by the people who are actually in power, which is the deep state, the shadow government, the intelligence agencies, etc., because they all want to just keep doing the same thing over and over again, especially the forever wars, etc. So no, I think whoever's in the presidency is really just the face of that.
Definitely. All right. Enter your scores in the chat one last time. Tell us what you thought of tonight. Tell us who you thought won. Let's jump into the chat one last time here. 200 to Toad for the Iran Lego shout out. 200 to Yates, you're all right. 200 Toad for getting rid of the satanic score. -3 to Toad, so it's officially the anti-frog. 100 to Toad, I'm over under he will win.
Now, too many of the people in the chat just are predisposed to hating me, so I can't win this thing.
200 to Kurt for being cleaner than Mr. Clean. 69 to Rob for mentioning Ladybug's Grinder account. 100 to Rob, Lindsey Graham's Tinder account. Too funny. 200 to Kurt, F the country that can't be named. 100 to Rob from Declan for mentioning the Tuttle twins. 200 to Rob, antiseptic. 200 to Kurt, our government is the biggest corporation. 100 to Kurt for the country cannot name. They're a terrorist state. F APAC. 200 Toad for self-censoring, but -13 for self-censoring. Points to Toad. 100 to Toad for the Geltics. LMAO. 200 to Toad for knowing his alphabet.
Yeah, even backwards has a sobriety test.
200 to Rob because the state power for sale is evil. -200 to Rob and Kurt for not seeing who and what helps and who is against America. 200 to Toad that foreign countries behind all of our foreign policy. 100 to Toad for not meaning Ireland, Iceland, India, Indonesia, Iran, Iraq, or Italy. That's got to be all of them. 200 to Rob for the boogeyman mention. 100 to Kurt, quoted SNL's church lady. Well, isn't that special? And that special country on a political game show. -to Toad for no ukulele.
Oh, it's not the space for it.
200 to Kurt for keeping it real. 100 to Rob. It's all driven by oil. You can't even refuse to register. Tell me about it. I got 3 kids that are draft age, 3 sons that are draft age. If they come into my house, they're going to be mighty disappointed. 100 to Rob on immigration. The root cause and problem of immigration is still the welfare healthcare initiatives. It really isn't an issue if there's no free shit. 200 Kurt, mass non-compliance is the only way through. Points to Toad, blowback's a bitch. Points to Toad for public government reference. Points to Rob for making free spit out his drink. I am shocked I did not spit out my drink. I had a full mouthful. That would have been really bad. 200
So did Lindsey Graham.
But you can't choke Bloomer. 200 Kurt, defense is the only defensible war. Terry spit on her screen. Currently cleaning off my computer screen again. Thanks, Rob. 100 to Kurt, we are a mercenary empire. Points to Kurt. Points to Rob, black and yellow anarchy. Background flag is awesome. Points to Rob, the 25th is there to use. Points to Kurt, professional camera and background. Setting the bar high for all of us short people in the limbo line. 200 to Kurt, no more boomer presidents. 100 to Kurt for calling out health issues. And Charles Blaze here, awesome guy and a subscriber. 200 to Rob for the solid answers the entire show. Great show, y'all. One of the best so far. 100 to Rob from Declan. Your answers were great. Points to Rob because he's never afraid to be bold. Points to Terry for putting up with the chat, 100%. Points to Terry. And great show tonight. Fun energy. Let's check the scoreboard and see who won. And little flip-flop at the end here. Kurt jumped back into the lead.
Oh!
Over 10,000 points, 10,100. Rob, 99.47. And Toad with the haters still got 98.91. Toad, you came in third place. What did you think tonight, man?
It was fun, man. Good job, Kurt. I think a well-deserved win. Kurt answers pretty much spot on. Yeah, I had fun. All the people that hate me in the chat they're all just anonymous like losers, man. They wish they were me, so it's whatever to me.
Plug what you got going on, man.
Yeah, Toadstool Sports is my degenerate gambling show. Not really degenerate because I'm serious about it. I'm good at it, so you can check that out. Covered in Uke is where I do my ukulele covers. I'm Learn to Toad on Twitter and Instagram, so everything's over there. Losercast is the comedy show that I do right now, and the G Spot is the New York Giants podcast that I also do. I know, it makes no sense.
Yeah, and like Toad said, you can check out his shows, Toadstool Sports, Covered in Uke, Losercast, and the G Spot. Everything's on his link tree /Learn to Toad. And you can check him out on X and Instagram, Learn to Toad. Thanks for doing this, buddy. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Rob, second place. You usually win. What'd you think tonight?
I mean, I feel pretty good. It was a good show. I think we broke some records for high scores there. One over 10,000, couple coming close to 10,000. A lot of fun, a lot of good answers, a lot of good topics. I like that we're switching it up a little bit, getting into some new territory. And I would really love to see Trump face the ramifications of the 25th Amendment.
Amen.
Totally agree. Plug your campaign and everything else you got going on.
Yeah, so Prosper CLT 2023 on Twitter. That's mostly where I'm active. I'm running for LNC chair. We got less than a month now, May 21st to 25th in Grand Rapids. Also the comms director of Libertarian Party of North Carolina. We're doing some pretty awesome things down here, making this a free state. Truly, I think that fingers crossed. We were lobbying this week, and it's looking like constitutional carry is about to become a reality. So, very proud of my state, and thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you to everyone supporting me. It's just awesome to see people in the liberty movement coming together and working towards something instead of against things.
Definitely, and you can follow Rob on X. Prosper CLT 2023. He is a candidate for LNC chair. He's also the Libertarian Party of North Carolina communications director and ran for Charlotte mayor a couple of times. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for doing the show. Kurt, your first time on, and you are the big winner. What'd you think?
It's wild. I was not expecting to win, so I'm really grateful. And frankly, going up against Rob and Toad, I felt a little intimidated out the gate, but thanks to the audience, I appreciate it. And really just good to make some new friends. I'm not known for my libertarian stuff. I'm a Bitcoin guy, which is definitely adjacent to the issue, but the reason I was into Bitcoin in the first place is because of the principles of human sovereignty and the ability for people to do business peer-to-peer and all of that kind of stuff. And so one informs the other. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be here, have a good time with some good people, and get to jog my own opinions. I'm not always thinking about politics, so I actually had to think pretty hard about some of these too. And rapid fire is good for the noggin, so it's been a good time.
And plug what you got going on.
Oh man, I got a bunch going on. So please check out kurtwuckertjr.com. I'm super active on X at Kurt Wuckert Jr. I'm in the middle of a Bitcoin history series. There's lots of documentaries coming out about Satoshi, and I just think they're trash. Like they're literally the big bank, big tech, big government narrative trying to paint Satoshi Nakamoto as something he was not. And I'm trying to right the wrongs there. So please follow my content there. Also check out my company stuff, gorillapool.com. We host Bitcoin mining hardware for people. We do software development and that kind of stuff for anybody in the Bitcoin space. And then I also have the beopen.io and beopen.ai companies where we are basically creating agents in the AI space that are not going to hallucinate you out of a job or hallucinate you into jail. They actually do their jobs and make you a more productive person. And so I'm trying to empower people to being solo entrepreneurs and thinking like a businessman. I think if there's one thing that can make libertarians more powerful and get into positions that really matter, it's by being better business people. If we can be effective business people, it'll allow us to fund more candidates, fund more campaigns, fund more ideas, and ultimately get the right people into the right places.
Definitely. And you can follow Kurt on X, Kurt Wuckert Jr. You can also check out his podcast, his websites, gorillapool.com, beopen.ai, and kurtwuckertjr.com. Appreciate you doing this, brother. A lot of fun tonight. Let's add Terry back in and see what Terry thought. What did you think tonight, Terry?
I absolutely loved it. I love the differences. I love the things that are alike. I love the chat, man. Tell me, you guys, they are just awesome. This chat is just amazing. And I really enjoyed the show. And a lot of people are putting that on here. But I also want to say congratulations to Toad on your, let me say it right, Celtics victory. I checked out the score throughout the show. I hope you won big on there. And Kurt and Rob, you'll be back. I would love to have Kurt and Toad back on again and see what we can do to make people learn more about liberty and maybe, do a little more battle to make yourself a more free society. What do you think? Think we can do that?
Love it.
Fun.
Yeah. Celtics.
Yeah.
I needed them to win by 7 too, and they did. Like right at the wire, we got the cover,
Right.
man.
I
I won
was-
some money. Yeah.
I was watching it actually, so congratulations.
Thank you.
You won the right game tonight, Toad. That's the moral of the story there. And thank you to Xano for sponsoring tonight. Your privacy matters. Choose Xano, the leading blockchain platform that prioritizes confidentiality and security. And if you're new to the space, check out intro.xano.org. Thanks again to all of our subscribers. So many in the chat tonight. Made it so much fun. If you want to subscribe, you can do so on X. And we'll be doing our subscriber showdown probably in June. And if you want to subscribe, you will be eligible for that. And if you want to sponsor the show, email studio@freedomuncut.com. Check us out at the Libertarian National Convention next month. You can register at lnc2026.com. And we'll be at Freedom Fest July 8th through 11th. And you can register there, freedomfest.com. Use the discount code SPIKE100 to give credit to You Are the Power and get a $100 discount. And follow me and Terry on X. I am Smarter Game Show. She's Bats T76. Check out our swag at freedomsuperstore.com. We talked about Satoshi a lot tonight. We have a Satoshi shirt. And the shorts will be available on YouTube at Freedom Uncut. And thank you so much to the chat. You guys made this so much fun. Missed you guys. And we will see you again Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Appreciate you all. Have a good